Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use and take full advantage of a Garmin Nuvi 295W, which is a GPS camera combo. It's a small unit, pocket size, very nice, slim, and it can operate horizontal or vertically. Actually this way. There you go. It changes to horizontal, and vertical, and this way you can change it to horizontal. It's a nice little unit, touch screen with the built-in replaceable battery. This is one of the units where you can change the battery yourself, and I'm going to be going through all the features, functions one by one, so you can learn how to take full advantage of your unit. Okay, so this is the actual cradle, basically where this thing is gonna be seated, and we will be inserting this here. That's how you insert it. And the first screen, when you have a GPS, like I said, I always said this, the first thing you need to do is customize the GPS based on your specific needs. And in this case, let's go to settings, and we go to system, you go to general. Okay, so if you're in an American country, if you're in North America, in the United States, or in an American state, you have to leave it in miles. If you go to United Kingdom, still you have to use miles. Everywhere else in the world you have to change that to kilometers. So how you change it, you click here and you choose kilometers. Temperature is also Fahrenheit is used in the United States and United Kingdom. Everywhere else they use centigrades, so you have to use Celsius or centigrades, or all over the world, but in the United States and the United Kingdom you have to use Fahrenheit. Okay, and safe mode is something that the GPS will prevent you from entering an address or doing anything on the screen while you're driving. So basically it's a feature that's it's a safety feature. So I usually turn it off, but you could turn it on. If it's on, it will prevent you from entering addresses while in motion. If it's off, basically it gives you the freedom to enter the address when you're in motion. Now it's an unsafe practice to do that while you're driving, so the reason I leave it off is because always my wife, who sits right next to me, enters the address in the GPS while I'm driving, so I wouldn't be entering the address. So if you have a passenger traveling with you, you can leave it off and let them enter the address. But if you're driving alone all the time, it's good to leave the safe mode on. Okay? GPS simulation, leave it off, but it's something that you can use. If you leave it on, you can use the GPS while you're indoors without satellite reception. So basically it will simulate your location. The GPS simulator kicks in when you're entering a long tunnel, or if you're traveling through a underground road where the satellite signal is weak or no satellite signal. So the GPS will assume your speed based on your entry speed. So even if you're stuck inside the tunnel in traffic backup, the GPS assumes that you're moving. So it's not a perfect navigation method, but it's the best estimate they can provide when you have no satellite signal. Okay. Connected service feedback. So this is something that you have to be on Wi-Fi. By the way, this unit has Wi-Fi. Most Garmin GPS units don't have Wi-Fi service. This one could be connected to Wi-Fi, and when you're connected to Wi-Fi, you could turn this on or off to, you could see. It will give away your location, and it will also give your feedback if there's certain problems with a map or anything. So you can read that and make a judgment which user data will be collected. So, okay, all right. So we go back. Oh, by the way, and this is to restore default. If you make a change to any of these settings and you want to go back to factory default, Then you click on these little bars, these three lines, and you choose restore. So that's what that is, restore. Okay. Now Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, you have to choose a Wi-Fi. I have already chosen a Wi-Fi, so that's something that you need to put in the password and whatnot and choose Wi-Fi in order for it to get connected. Security, locking is off. If you turn the locking on, what you have to do is punch in a pin, and then if you forget the pin, it will unlock itself only if you come to the same GPS coordinates where the lock was originally set. For example, if you could choose a pin at your house and you forget the pin, when you come back to your house, the GPS will automatically unlock because you're at the same GPS coordinates. However, if you travel to a different country and you forgot your pin, then you're in big trouble because your GPS is no better than a brick unless you remember the password. So I leave it off. Just don't want to take any chances. Okay. So language, it's obvious you can change the language to different languages. Now remember, there are three different language changings. One is the verbal voice language. The verbal voice language is the guidance that it tells you, okay, you have to turn right, you have to turn left. And then if there is a name associated to the verbal voice, for example, it says Australian English Lee. When there is a name associated to it, that speaks the street names. If there aren't any names associated, then it will not speak the street names. For example, now that I have chosen American English Jack, it will guide me and tell me turn right and turn right on Broadway or turn left on Broadway or something like that. If I wouldn't have chosen, then it would just tell me turn right and turn left without saying the word Broadway. So it speaks the street names if you choose a language that has TTS, which means text to speech. Those languages that have TTS, they have the name of the speaker next to it. For example, Jack or whatever name you want to choose. And this is how to preview that language or that voice to see if you like that voice.
Enter roundabout.
Okay, now volume is very low. Let me actually cancel this, go back and increase the volume. Let's increase the volume. Okay, so now the volume settings are right up here. I had to increase it to maximum. Now I'm gonna go back to those settings because you couldn't hear it. So now I go back to navigation, I go back to language, and I go back to this, and I choose American English Jack and preview.
Enter roundabout.
Okay, so that's how it is. Alright, so we click OK, and then we have text language. Text language is the language of menu icons. For example, the very language that's written here, text, keyboard, voice. This language right here, these menus will change if you change the text language. So, for example, this is an example. If I choose French, and I click OK. See, now, texte, voix, clavier, these changed langue. These all changed to French. So I'm going to go back to American English, click OK, and now all these change back to English. So that's the text language. Keyboard language is very important. It's why so important? Because if you're traveling in a different country and you have American English keyboard, you don't have the alphabet required to enter the address in that foreign country. For example, let's say you are in Russia and they have Cyrillic alphabet. How are you going to enter an address in English if your keyboard is in English? You have to change it to Russian keyboard. Even though the language, the voice language and the menu languages are in English, the keyboard must be changed to the language of the country you're visiting. Because unless that country, some countries have alternative addresses in English. For example, you could punch in an address in their own language, or you could punch in that very address in English language. So in that case, you don't have to change the keyboard language. Alright, so all that is good. Now we go back and date and time. Date and time, which format you wanted. This is a no-brainer. Month, day, and year. You could choose a 12-hour format or 24-hour format, which is the military style. You could select a time zone automatically by the GPS signal, or you could choose your time zone depending on where you are. So automatic is recommended. And let's go back. Now we go to audio. Audio, we have two different, so many different settings in audio. Vibration is if you want the vibration to be on and off. I'm going to leave it on. Why not? Leave it on. Okay. Now, sounds. You could have email sound on and off. Obviously, if you're going to be receiving emails here, so you want to leave it on. These are different types of like alarms or voices when you receive an email, like bounce building or aloha sunset. So let's choose aloha sunset and listen to it. This one. Anyway, so you could choose whichever one you like for your email. You have to set up your email, by the way. This email is not even set up right yet. Okay, so calendar alert. You could choose what kind of alert you want for the calendar. Like if someone's birthday is approaching and some other event, so it's a calendar alert. Clock, you could adjust. Touch tone is on. If you press something, you hear the tone. That's called the touch tone, which is on. And the clock alert. If you set the clock, so the default is that one, so I leave that one. And again, for all these settings, if you make a mistake or if you want to return to factory default, you just click here and click restore. It goes back to factory settings. Okay, so that was the sound alert. Mixer is important because in mixer you have navigation volume and music volume. Usually you want the navigation volume to be dominating the music volume. So I'm going to choose for the music, let's say 90. Oh, it's so delicate because you cannot even stop it at 90. It's like there. Let's go to there, 91. Okay, so I'm gonna choose that for music and let the navigation dominate. So in case you're listening to the music and the GPS wants you to exit, you should be able to hear it much louder than the music, or else you're gonna miss your exit. Okay. Proximity points is like alerts when you get to different places. For the proximity point, you can have red light cameras, speed cameras and whatnot, things that you can add on or purchase separately. I believe the speed camera and red light camera alert for different countries is $29.99 from Garmin's website. For each country is $29.99. So if you get speed camera alert for United States and Canada, it's $29.99, and then if you go to Europe for each country, it's I think $20 or so. It's pretty expensive to get it for all the different countries. Okay. So that was sound, proximity, and then we have, let's see what else we have. Audio boost, you can leave it on. It's good to have louder audio than not louder, so leave that on. And then we go to navigation. You have to choose if you're using this for automobile or if you're a pedestrian or whatever the settings are. So the calculation method is fastest time. So, for example, you have different types. You have shortest distance, off-road, and fastest time. You choose the fastest time. If you choose shorter distance, it will take you from small streets, which is full of red lights and stop signs, but you travel lesser. It's good only. This is only good if you're on a rental car and you're being charged per mile. Then you're better off to use this because the vehicle will have lesser mileage on the on the odometer. You have lesser mileage to get to point A to point B. However, you have to pay dearly with your time because it will take you from like really crowded, full of traffic lights areas versus fastest time, which takes you through the freeways. And off-road, obviously, you don't want to go to off-road unless your vehicle is equipped to handle off-roaders. Okay. Avoidance is on, and you can avoid U-turns if you're on a big bus. You cannot make U-turns on an 18-wheel semi-truck. You need to press this to avoid it. You have to avoid highways if you're on a bicycle which is not allowed on highways, or one of those motorized bicycles or scooters which are not allowed on the highways. Then you have to choose avoid highways. Okay. Now toll roads. Toll roads you need to avoid if you don't have the transponder or you don't have cash or credit card to pay for your toll road. Otherwise, you can use toll roads. Now, in some cases, if you're traveling in Europe, as I was, toll roads could be really expensive. It's not like the United States where you pay like, I don't know, $5, $6, $10. And some places in Europe, especially in France, they are as high as like 15, 16 euros, which is about $20, $25. So this could save you a lot of money by avoiding toll roads. Now, on the other hand, avoiding toll roads will take you to some really crowded and full of traffic lights, red lights, and traffic signs and stop signs roads, which will waste a lot of your time. And gas is even more expensive than the toll roads back in Europe. So you have to remember, take that in consideration. Now, in your avoidance traffic, you always want to avoid traffic. Obviously, why wouldn't you want to avoid traffic? But for that, you have to have a traffic receiver to avoid traffic. So that's a good avoidance to have. Ferries, you have to avoid if your vehicle doesn't fit on those little ferries. Carpool lanes, you must avoid if you're a single driver and you don't have an occupant next to you, or if you're a low occupancy vehicle with one person, such as small cars, then you can't go to the toll roads, carpool lanes. I'm sorry, this is a carpool lane. They also call it diamond lane or express lane, but yeah, you have to avoid it if you're alone. Unpaved roads, same thing as like off-roading. You have to have a vehicle that's equipped. If not, you must avoid it. Now remember, when you check the box, that is avoided. Doesn't mean that if you want to go to carpool lanes, you have to uncheck it, because this is avoidance. Everything that's checked, that's where the GPS will not take you. Okay. Now, if you have changed these settings you want to return back to the factory default, that's very simple. You go here and check all or uncheck all, or here's the deal. Click OK. You go here and choose restore, and it will restore all 4 items to factory default. Okay. Now, map details, I don't like normal, I like more. I want to be able to see more streets and maps and alleys. If you choose less, it will hide the small alleys. If you choose normal, if you choose less, it will even hide some smaller streets. So this, I don't like this. I like it to show all the streets and alleys and any information that's on the map. But the only disadvantage when you have more is that it will create confusion because your screen will be crowded with too many streets. So that's the only problem. Other than that, the more information you have, the better navigation you will do. So that's the thing. Alright, so that's map detail. Okay, map view, I like the 3D view, which shows 3-dimensional platform of the road you're going and your vehicle. You could choose north up. If you choose north up, wherever you're going will not be on the top of the screen. So if you're going south, your vehicle will move this way, and if you're making a right turn, the car will go this way on the map. On the screen, the car will go this way, when in reality your vehicle went this way. It's confusing, very confusing. Don't choose north up. Either use 3D, which is the best, or track up, which means whichever direction you're going is on the top of the screen. So if you're going right, on the actual road, you will also be going right on the screen. Okay. Okay, vehicle, you can change the vehicle. Right now it's set to like this little truck. You can change it to a little car or any other thing that you want. Trip log shows where you have already been. So basically it's good if you're walking in a forest and you want to make sure you're not going in circles to leave the trip log show. Otherwise it will create a blue line over your existing roads and it creates confusion. So I will leave that off. Pedestrian mode, shortest distance. Map detail, I want it to be more, even in pedestrian mode. And then for pedestrian mode, you could choose an arrow or you could choose footsteps. This one doesn't have footsteps, but you can download it from Garmin's website. And map view, north up or 3D. North up is good for pedestrian. Okay. Let me go back. That was navigation. Now we go to applications. You could set up email. You can create a mailbox and add an account and do all the good stuff. I'm not going to do that right now, but you could. The browser, you could go to homepage is garmin.com and JavaScript on and off. Accept cookies, yes. Cookies clear. You could clear the cookie. It clears all your history. Okay, so it cleared all the history. Because this goes online, it has a browser. Okay, so main menu order, you can choose the web browser, email, and all that good stuff. Okay, now we go to display. The brightness is 100%, you can change it, but I have it at 100% because I'm doing this video. And let me see, actually, maybe lower is better. Yeah, actually 75 is better for the video. So there you go. And the lockout is 1 minute. I don't want it to be locking out, so I click OK. If you choose lockout, the screen will lock and there will be a circle with a lock button. You have to double tap to open. Okay, screenshot off. If you leave it on, you can take pictures with like a camera picture of the screen. It's good if you're going to a new place and you want to take a picture of the map of the area. So you click the screenshot. Again, you forgot all the settings. Go back here and do factory restore. Okay. Okay, so all of these settings, every single one of these could be factory restored right here. Restore, master clear, and all that. Okay, now here's a good thing. A lot of people don't know how to tell what version the map is on these screens because it's not that simple to see. But here is how you could tell your map version. Let me show you. You go to settings, you go to system. No, you go to navigation. Where was the map? System, general. The map, general. Let me find this out, 1 second. Okay, so here's how you can tell the version of your map. It was a little confusing. You go to navigation and click on these three little lines and then click on map info. That's how you can tell which version map you have. So this one has version 2010. It's a very old map which needs to be updated. But yeah, that's how you can tell. It was a little confusing. Okay, now let's go to tools and see what we can do with tools. With tools, you could tell where you are, where I am. It tells you exact coordinates of where you are. Calculator, you can use as a simple calculator. It's not a scientific calculator, but it's a decent calculator. Clock shows you the time of different places, like world map and the time in different places. You could choose a place. Let's see. Let's go to. Okay, on my other one, you could click on the country. It tells you what time that country is. Okay, this one doesn't have that functionality. Let's go to clocks of different countries. Tokyo, London, New York. You could see the time zone in different places. And let's see, stopwatch. Okay, that's a simple stopwatch. World time. Alarm, no alarms, and whatnot. So that's a simple clock. Converter is a pretty good thing to convert currency US dollar to, let's say, euros. Let's say British pound. Okay, so 1 US dollar equals to 0.615 Great British Pound. So if you want to put 500 US dollars, it's 307.465 British Pound. Now this is currency conversion, right? You could change the currency to distance, and let's say how many millimeters is how many centimeters, or how many millimeters to inches. So if I have 1 inch, that equals to 25.4 millimeters or 2.5 centimeters. So these are the good things for conversion. You will find this very handy if you travel to a foreign country, because worldwide they're using metric system. It's only here in the United States that we are using inches. Okay, all right. Let's see. What else? Help. It's simple. If you need help, everything you can ask for help is just a click away. Notes. You can take notes. You don't have any note right now. Checklist. If you're doing a shopping and you want to do a checklist of that. Okay. Weather. Weather comes in handy to tell you, like, how is the weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on which city you have chosen. Right now it's for New York, but you can change that to a different city, like weather near me or update weather. So now it's updating the weather right there. It's updating the weather. So yeah. So you have to choose the home city, hometown, in order to get the information for your. If you choose near me, if you choose this, weather near me, then it's going to ask you to go outside under a GPS signal, because it doesn't even know where you are. If you want to know the weather of a different city, let's say I want to know how is the weather in Las Vegas. I go a different city, I click OK, it's going to tell me enter city. I'm going to say Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Which Las Vegas? Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, is that the one? I'm like, yes. Select that one. Las Vegas, Nevada. The weather is 59 degrees and it's partially cloudy. It's not going to rain today, but on Thursday and Friday there's a good chance of rain. So that's the information. Again, that's weather information, so that you know. Okay. Now calendar, it's a no-brainer. Which day? Of course, obviously this is wrong. This is not 2013 right now. So first we have to choose the correct year. We are in 2018, and right now it's November 25th, I believe. Yeah, November. And then you just click OK, and then you choose 25th. Where is the 25th? There. November 25th. That's today. Oh, it went back to. Anyways, because it doesn't have GPS signal, that's why. Okay, tools we already saw. Now if you navigate to a place, you click where to. Points of interest, nearest point of interest nearest to you. For example, you could go to, you could spell the name. Let's say by spelling the name, you could say McDonald's. You could say M-E, and you could go to D-O-N, and done. It's searching for all the McDonald's. There you go. 67 miles away. I'm sorry, it's 10 miles away. 67th in Main Street. Okay, so those are the things, the points of interest that you can do. Let's go back, cancel. You could go to fuel stations, like gas stations near you. So these are different gas stations. You could go to hotels if you're sleepy. Restaurants if you're hungry. Bank and ATM machines if you need cash. Shopping. Transit like airports and train stations, bus stations. Parking. Entertainment, recreation, attraction, hospital, auto service, community services, you name it. These are all the point of interest that are preloaded, or you can spell it by manually entering a point of interest. For example, let's say you want to go to a specific museum, and you go to tourist attraction like this one, and then choose museums, amusement parks, and all attractions and museums, for example, and the name of that museum is not here in the list. Then what you do is you go and you use the spelling and enter the name of that museum. So that's why it's good to have. This is go home. If you want to go home, you just punch this in and it'll take you to your house, but you have to enter your house address if it's not there. This is if you want to punch in the address. So let's say I want to go to enter the city. Let's say the city is in San Diego. San Diego, done. Okay, search all cities because it didn't find city. Okay, 2423, done. That was just a fake number. 54th Street. Okay, so 54th Avenue, and there you go. Oh, by the way, still in New York. That's not San Diego. So let me go change the city, because that's still in New York. Change to city or state. Change to California. Spell California. Now I can say spell city and put San Diego. San Diego, California, and then you enter the address and whatnot. So that's how you do it. Anyways, we're gonna go back. That was if you enter address. Favorite is very important. If you're traveling to a foreign country and you're visiting different family and friends and relatives or workplace or airports and hotels, you have to add it to favorites. So you can go there again and again without having to enter the address every time. So currently the favorites is empty, but you have to click on favorites and it should show everything. This is the places that you have recently gone to. It shows the list of all that. Okay. And cities, you can enter a city. Okay. So these are coordinates, contact coordinates, where you can enter GPS coordinates. Okay, now the GPS coordinates is very important in some countries where the houses and businesses are not addressed correctly, or not every place have an address. With the GPS coordinates, you could go almost anywhere on the planet by entering the longitude and latitude of that place, which could be N and W, or W or east and south, E and S. You have to choose. Make sure the N, W, E, and S is correct. See that? Make sure these are correct, because if they're not correct, it will give you, the coordinates could give you an address of somewhere in the middle of the ocean. So make sure that N and W, E, and S are correct. Okay? Alright, so intersection, again, in some places where the addresses are not very accurate, you can enter the intersection of two roads crossing each other. For example, you could say to the GPS, take me to the intersection of Broadway and 2nd Street in the city of San Diego. It will take you there without even knowing the address of any business there. Extras you have to buy from Garmin, extra features and functionalities. Browse the map, it shows you the map, then you can pick a point and go there. Like I could look at the map and choose this place and say go. That's what I can do. It's called browse map. And then routes, you could clear the routes, you could, add routes, all your routes, basically. I guess we covered everything. And oh yeah, one more thing. If you need to change the battery on this is a very nice unit where you can change the battery. You press this to release it. Stay on. And oh, the camera. I didn't show you the camera. Okay. The browser and the camera. I didn't show you quite a few things actually. Browser, you could go online. You have to be online. You have to have Wi-Fi to do this. So basically, the web page I'm trying to find is not available. So I have to punch in another web page like Garmin.com. I think my internet connection is not established yet. That's why it's not receiving any internet. Bookmarks, homepage. Yeah, I don't have established internet connection, so I have to troubleshoot that. Same thing with email. You can set up your email, music player. You can play different music. There's some sample musics that come from Garmin, but you can add music. Anyways, so that's that. And the camera, you have to, like right now the camera is showing the background. As I have a microphone in the back there, as you can see, that's the microphone that I have in order to capture the audio from the speaker of this unit. So stay on, and you can, there you go, you can take pictures. Now the picture quality is not that good. Okay, so I took a picture. The resolution and whatnot is not that good, but and yeah, I was gonna show you how the cradle works. The cradle snaps in here like that, and this is where the suction, goes to the suction cup, this unit right here. And this right here is this where the power charger goes in here. That's the actual cradle. And then you press this to release it. You have to press it to release it. The battery is right here. Let me show you the battery. This is the battery. If you want to take it out, you can do it. Oh my god, it's not easy. It's not. Let's do this. There. That's how you take it out, and this is how you put it back in, like that. And this is how you slide this back in, and it's powering on. See, it's sideways or vertical, but you can go this way and it will be horizontal. Now it's booting vertical, so once the boot is complete, only then you can turn it around to change it to horizontal. If you don't want to use the cradle, you can also charge it directly from the USB port here. There. So we're not using the cradle. This is for home, if you want to charge it from home, or if you want to hook it up to your computer for updates and whatnot. So those are all the things you can do. So now it's loading again. See, as it's loading, it's loading vertically, but as soon as the Garmin logo comes up, then I can turn it around and use it horizontally. I don't have to use it vertically. There, so double tap here. Okay, and okay, and there. Like that, or like this. And even if you click where to, you could use it like that. You could use it like this, or like this, like that. It turns around. Okay, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.